Testing, 1, 2, 3. Papa, how am I sounding over there? We good? Sound check for Papa, all right, we're good. They moved the speech up a little bit for me today, and it means a lot to me, so we're gonna start by reading from... All right. So, as some of you may know, my girlfriend is currently in labor, but it's not every day you have the opportunity to roast your older brother, so here we are. My son would want me to do this. I actually started on this speech the day that Mike told me he was getting married. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dan. I'm Mike's younger, taller brother. I want to start by saying thank you to everybody for being here today, including the few people that might have only gotten their invitation from Mike a few days ago. We appreciate you being here on such short notice. Mike was a great role model to me growing up and taught me how to play sports, have fun, helped me with schoolwork, but along with those things, he also showed me lots of things that I definitely shouldn't do. So it made things a lot easier for myself, knowing what I could get away with. Growing up, we were also pretty different in some ways. He was kind of a troublemaker. I was a quiet kid. Mike was athletic, but I was very athletic. So when me and Mike were kids, we actually have a home video of me taking my first steps on camera. And my parents were all excited on the video, and then Mike comes out of nowhere and just shoves me into a wall. And he completely ruins my big moment. So when I get him back later during his first dance, I need everyone to know that he was the one that started this. Mike was taller than me for a while when we were younger, but then we hit a point where I really just started growing like crazy, and Mike realized he was starting to run out of time. I remember Mike actually checking the ingredients on a SpaghettiOs can because that was all I ate at the time, so he could try and figure out what he could do to catch up. Unfortunately for Mike, he would never catch up again and is now forced to stand on his tippy toes during our holiday photos. Mike and I had bunk beds growing up. I was on the bottom, he was on the top. We would play the animal game before going to bed, which was trying to guess the animal you were thinking of by giving the other person hints. You'd just be laying in bed and one of us would just be like, hey, want to play the animal game? We have lots of good memories fighting each other on our boogie boards in the pool, which was basically whoever drowned the other person first would win. Playing Super Nintendo, trading baseball cards. Me and Mike were also very competitive when it came to sports, so we also had some pretty intense moments. Mostly came in basketball, some other sports too. You can ask my papa about the wiffle ball game at Patton Park. He was the one who actually made the controversial game-ending call too, so the younger cousins lost, and some say you can still hear the cries of that game if you go to the park and listen hard enough. Just an example of Mike's competitiveness, the first story that came to mind was me and Mike were on the same team in Little League, and we had a practice. Mike was in the outfield catching fly balls, I was in the infield. Then all of a sudden there was like this group of people surrounding someone, and I just knew right away it was probably Mike. But he had run into the fence full speed trying to catch a fly ball, split open his tongue, his nose, and he was all bloody and dazed on the ground, and the only thing he cared about was if he caught the ball. And I'll give him credit, he did catch it. Mike and I both had paper routes growing up. He would always complain that my mom would always drive me on mine and he would have to walk, which I can honestly say was kind of true. I remember sometimes I would finish with my route first, and we would drive by Mike, who was still finishing his, and I would yell out to him out the window, making jokes and making fun of him. Then he would get back to the house when he finished and kick my ass. Throughout the years, I have lived in a bunch of different apartments, and me and Mike were roommates on and off in some of them. He had moved away for a bit, but I knew he was coming back. And I was living in Salem at the time, and he started mentioning to me about moving in, and I was telling him how there really wasn't any room. But long story short, Mike ended up turning the sunroom into his bedroom. He started in the smallest space and then slowly expanded until all of a sudden there were moving trucks in the driveway, and he added the attached living room to make a master suite. I do miss living with Mike because I would never had to set my alarm clock because him cooking breakfast in the morning would wake me up every day. The sound of Mike closing a microwave door still actually rings in my head sometimes. Mike is actually the only person I know that can use power tools at midnight in his room and then make you feel like the bad guy for asking him to stop. So for Christmas before COVID started, Mike very generously bought me a trip to Ireland. Was all excited, got my passport, was all ready to go. Then unfortunately COVID hit and the trip got canceled, so I never got the trip Mike got me for Christmas. So instead of getting you a gift for your wedding today, I figured we could just call it even. So I'm expecting it, I'd put a baby boy today now, any hour now, more like it. But originally when I talked to Mike about the due date being 2 days away from the wedding, I was nervous that I might miss it. Mike, on the other hand, suggested that we delivered the baby up here in the barn. He wasn't kidding. Just to take a moment, everybody, to recognize how great of a couple that Mike and Julie make. And it makes it a really sad day for all the single guys here. We have another beautiful woman that has been taken off the market. But to all the single ladies here, today is just any other day. Mike originally told me that he was moving up here to York to chase a career in carpentry. But now that I steer her on his wedding day, I'm starting to think that he might have been chasing Julie. In all seriousness now, to be standing up here today as your best man is an honor. You have overcome a lot of different obstacles throughout your life to get to where you are today. You have shown me what it means to persevere and to always have an incredible work ethic. Everything that has happened throughout your life has brought you here on your wedding day, sitting next to an amazing woman. I couldn't be prouder of the man that you are today, and you made a great choice with making Julie a part of our family. Love you, bro. And to Julie, don't forget about Julie. To Julie, it is my great honor to welcome you into the Gray family. Just make sure you never lose your sense of humor and you'll be just fine. Thank you for loving Mike for exactly who he is and the love that you both share together. So if everyone could please join me by raising their glass to Mike and Julie, to a long life together filled with happiness, laughter, and lots of wonderful memories. Cheers. Cheers.